Hi and welcome to A World of Words. I'm Vanessa and today I'm doing a live reaction book review for Caraval by Stephanie Garber. I just want to say real quick, in case you have never watched one of my live reaction reviews before, this is not a spoiler-free review. There can be spoilers at any time. Since I'm pretty much vlogging the process of reading this book, I update you as I go along on what I'm thinking about it, so I'm just going to be talking about what's happening in the book as I go along, so there's no spoiler-free section. I highly recommend, if you want to watch this video and really enjoy it to the fullest extent, that you read this book before watching the video. Otherwise, if you really don't care about spoilers, then just watch on and enjoy. So my first impression of this book is I'm around 35 pages in at this point, and I just love the visual presentation of this book. Just the aesthetic of it and like the details they put on the page are just beautiful. I'm going to show you. That's just so pretty. On the chapter pages, see those details? It's just a very pretty book. That's my overall very first impression of it. Now for my first impression of the story and the writing, so far I'm really enjoying the writing style. There seems to be a very heavy focus on smell when Scarlett is describing things, which is different from most books because people usually focus on sight. I know I personally focus on sight, and so it's really interesting that she focuses on smell. Kind of weird and a little bit unusual, but I'm really enjoying it. Also, their father is horrible. Ugh. I really love this description. To her left, a broken dock like a massive tongue jutted into the water past stones that reminded Scarlett of uneven teeth. I think that is a really good description and I really like it. So they just reached the island and Tella is nowhere to be found. So that's a very fair question, Scarlett. Where is Tella? I'm already suspicious. And then we get the description of that like weird little town on the island and all those little shops and the strange like magical things in them, and I like it. It's a weird little town. It's very odd, but it also is very like whimsical and very magical. And it's kind of reminding me a little bit of Furthermore by Tahara Mafi, with just like the unique whimsical writing style and all of those like fun little descriptions that don't seem to make like all that much sense all the time, like how her colors are her emotions. But I really like it because it's different and it's fun, and as an aspiring author myself, I'm just like always so interested to see like really weird and unusual ways that people describe things. Then the part about in the clock store place, and he wanted her to give him her voice for like an hour, and then he would give her a shortcut through Caraval. I don't think I would have trusted him either. That's kind of shifty in my opinion. I've seen Little Mermaid. You don't give people your voice. It's not going to end well. I mean, it ended well for Ariel, but that's a Disney movie, and I'm not sure it will end well for her because this place is very wacky, and Julian is no Prince Eric, so that offer was a little too shifty for my liking. Who is this man in the hallway with all the tattoos? He's all like hitting on Scarlett with his mean sister. Yeah, who is he? I don't trust him. I don't trust Julian either. I don't trust anybody here. This place is not trustworthy. It's very strange. I mean, I'm enjoying the book very much, but it's very strange. And I think Scarlett is 100% right to just not trust anyone or anything. So that fortune teller guy. Am I the only one who thinks it's a little weird that his main way of like telling people's fortune or like learning about people is what they look at on his tattoos? It seems like almost like cheating because he's not like reading them, he's just looking at what they look at, which I don't know. I don't know. That was kind of sad about her future, though, that her fiance isn't a good person or might be like evil or something. We don't really know, and we don't even know if we can trust Mr. Tattoo Fortune Teller dude. So I still don't really know what's going on, even though she's starting to like fall for Julian, which I knew would happen, but I'm still kind of like, I don't know. I'm like halfway suspecting, what if Julian is Legend? That would be a really good plot twist. But I'm not 100% sure if he was Legend or if that like weird tattoo guy was Legend. Like if Legend was somebody we already met, that would be really interesting. And I'm kind of hoping that that's what happens. Because if he were like playing in Caraval, that would be really cool. And I could see him doing something like that, even though we haven't even encountered him. But I could still, like, it seems like something he would do. Anyway, I'm gonna keep reading because, yeah. So, as far as the whole follow the boy with a heart made of black thing that the fortune teller told her, she is just assuming that it's Julian, but it might not be. Dante has a tattoo of a black heart. I think that's a clue. The boy selling cider with the monkey on his shoulder. I don't know why I found him so funny, but like, is it sanitary to buy food from somebody with a monkey? I was just thinking about that. I'm like, it's a monkey. Is that like fur get places? I don't know. I'm probably overthinking this. Maybe it's a magic monkey and it's like super smart. It did seem to understand English pretty well, which was funny. What a place. What? Am I right? Is Julian Legend? She just had a dream where she saw Legend, but Legend was Julian. And does that mean that I'm right? Could Julian really be Legend? I have to keep reading. I have to find out if this is true. Wow. I'd be so impressed with myself if that was true. Okay, so I don't think Julian's Legend. That's pretty clear. Unless he's a really good liar. She still might be, but I'm doubting it. I think he's telling the truth. I'm gonna trust him for now. Also her father is there, which is horrible, and what is he doing there? What is he doing there? How did he get a ticket? They don't need that. On top of everything else, they don't need that. Oh my god. Okay, I have to see what happens next. So I haven't updated in a while because I keep reading late at night and then falling asleep. But basically, so we got to meet Scarlett's fiance. He was lovely. So lovely that Scarlett had to use her magic mace to get rid of him. Oh. And then there was the part we finally meet Legend. And Julian has been working for him the whole time, but he still apparently loves Scarlett. And then Julian gets shot. I swear, if he dies, I'm going to be angry. Like, I know I said I didn't like him, but if he dies, I'm gonna be so mad. You just can't do that. So I need to see what happens. The last night of Caraval. So I finished the book last night, and overall reaction is that I really liked it. I liked it a lot. I just decided to wait until the next day to talk about my final feelings on it. That way I had a little bit of time to just think everything over and form like final coherent thoughts. First off, the scene where Tella falls off the balcony and dies, and then Scarlet has to use her wish to bring Tella back to life. That was really sad. Yeah, that was pretty heartbreaking because at that point, poor Scarlet had lost both Tella and Julian, and it was kind of dark, and I was like, is this book really gonna go there? Is it really gonna be like this dark book? Because it seemed like it was kind of a mix of like, you know, fun and, well, not really fun, but like kind of magical when like anything can happen, but it also did have a very violent edge to it, so it could have gone that way. And if it had gone that way, I would have been upset, because I don't know if you know this about me, but I love happy endings. I really don't like sad endings. Bittersweet endings depends. Sometimes they're okay, sometimes they piss me off. For the most part in fiction though, I want a primarily happy ending, and Scarlet being alone in the world, even if she were to have gotten her freedom, would not have been a happy ending, and I would have been pretty mad. But that's not how it ended. She brought her sister back to life with her love, which was really sweet. I do want to say about Tella though, because we find out that Tella pretty much orchestrated this whole thing, and I mean, of course she had Legend's help, but it was essentially her. First of all, she put her sister through all of that, which is kind of messed up. Basically, what I'm trying to say is the fact that she believed in Scarlet's love for her so much that she was willing to like risk the fact that she could die and stay dead, but she had so much faith in how much Scarlet loved her that she was willing to die thinking that she loved her, that Scarlet loved her enough that her love would be able to bring her back to life, was actually like pretty heartwarming, and it redeemed Tella quite a bit in my eyes, because throughout the book I really didn't care for Tella at all. Like, I liked Scarlet, and so I wanted Scarlet to find her sister because I cared about Scarlet, and I wanted her to like find her sister, and also Tella obviously didn't deserve to die. She was kind of self-involved and a little on the annoying side, but I don't feel like she was bad enough that she deserved to be kidnapped or horribly tortured or anything like that at all. No. So I didn't like her. I found her like minorly irritating, but the fact that she has so much faith in her sister kind of redeemed her a little bit in my eyes, and the fact that like obviously she loves Scarlet too, because she loves Scarlet enough to believe in her, and I'm sure she loves Scarlet. It wasn't from her point of view, so it's hard to tell exactly how strong her affection was, but they pretty much only had each other, and like they counted on each other, so I'm sure she loves Scarlet probably more than Scarlet realizes. Also in the beginning, she was desperately trying to get her father to choose her for the punishment, so that said something too. I'm still a little conflicted about Tella, but I like her a lot better at the end of the book than I did in the beginning of the book. I'm gonna leave it at that. And so other things I wanted to talk about were, oh yeah, Julian's alive, so yay! They can be happy and it's cool. Oh, and he's Legend's brother, which was interesting. I still was thinking at the very end that he might end up being Legend, but he's his brother. So before reading this book, it was very hyped up. I saw quite a few different wrap-up reviews, like people's spoiler-free thoughts on the book before I read the book, so I kind of knew some things going in to expect, but I do want to address a couple of the complaints that I've heard people say about this book and kind of defend them a little bit. The two main complaints I've heard were that, one, the magic system is not explained very well, pretty much at all, and two, that the ending was very, very info-dumpy. People basically stood around and explained everything bluntly and directly. This is what was going on, this was fake. Quite a few pages of just plain like explanation, dialogue to saying this is what actually happened. Both of those things are true. There was a big info dump at the end and the magic system was not explained at all. But I'm going to just defend both of those things in my humble opinion of why I think they are okay and why neither of those things really bothered me at all. First one I'm going to talk about is the magic system. The magic system was not explained at all. It bothers me sometimes when magic systems aren't well explained, and that's just when the book is trying to be realistic, and when they clearly explain other things, are very well laid out, very well explained, and then they have the magic system, and it either changes, they have some rules, and then they break them, and stuff like that. This book was not like that. This book basically said that the magic system is trickery and you don't know what's going on, you have no idea what's real, and also that it's a mix of truth and lies, and that it's kind of like unpredictable is the word I'm looking for. So the fact that the only rule about the magic in this book was basically that it doesn't make sense, I was okay with that. Like, in order for you to not explain the magic, and in order for it to be crazy and not make sense, you just have to establish the fact that this is the sort of magic that doesn't always make sense, and that is unpredictable. So what are you going to do with that? That's completely fine in my book. If the rules are that there are no rules. And now for the info dump complaint that I have heard a whole bunch of times. There's no arguing with the fact that there is quite an info dump at the end. I think it was necessary because this book was so confusing. Like, we had at least 2 false versions of what happened. There were like several plot points, and there were at least 2 false versions for each plot point, so it was hard to tell what was actually real and what was not real. So the author was kind enough to sit down with us basically and say, this is what was real, this is what was not real, so we're not sitting there wondering, okay, was that real, like, but what about this part, what about this part? They basically addressed every single confusing part of the book and explained what was actually going on. I actually have absolutely no problem with that. It was done at the end. It maybe was a little bit on the rushed side, but I think it was fine. I don't really see how they could have done it better. They might have maybe spliced it together a little more, but then they would have had to drag out the ending, which they didn't really need to do. So I think it was perfectly fine. I actually appreciate the fact that it was very clear. I can understand how somebody might have been like, oh, this is info dumpy, but if it wasn't there, you would have left off the book kind of with a lot of questions. I don't know what exactly people wanted. Now, the only thing that left me a little tiny bit confused at the end, not even really confused, just kind of as like a bit of a loose end. So basically it ends with the party, and then Scarlett's with Julian and she's happy. It doesn't necessarily say they're gonna get married, but I do kind of wonder, like, where is Scarlett gonna live and how is she going to, because it didn't necessarily say that like her and Teller are gonna move with Julian, because he has a job, he makes money, though I don't necessarily know how often the Caraval happens, so like how often do the players get paid? Does he have other acting jobs? Basically, I'm curious, like, does Scarlett have any marketable skills to get a job and support herself? I kind of want to know, like, how's she going to, like, live and make a living and pay for food and housing and stuff like that. That's the only question I have for this book. Is something very boring and very realistic, like how is she going to afford food and shelter? Because she's never had a job before. That's basically my only boring question mark about the book. And then about the epilogue, apparently it's not over, and apparently Tella still has a deal that she worked out with Legend. I'm sure your mother will be quite proud, and I believe you should be able to see her soon. But first, you must keep up your end of the bargain. I hope you haven't forgotten what you owe me in exchange for all that I've shared with you. I plan on collecting my payment very soon. Truly yours, a friend. Okay, it doesn't say Legend. I assumed it was Legend. Legend or some other person she made a deal with. One, it implies that they might be able to find their mother, and 2, something else is going on. So I'm assuming that the second book is going to be about Tella, which I'm actually okay with. That might be pretty interesting. I'm just kind of curious, like, what more this world has to offer, because as far as this book goes, it was very specific. It's about surviving the game. So like, is there going to be another game, or is it going to be like take a completely different direction? Maybe some other magical place they go to. I don't know. I'm just curious because this didn't seem quite like the book that needed a sequel. So I'm very curious to see like what direction they're going to go with in the sequel. And again, if it's from Tella's point of view, I'm okay with that because I actually kind of want to learn more about her. I'm a little curious about her. And I would also like to know more about their mother because that was kind of weird. Like, her mother, they escaped from their father, but why on earth would she not take her children with her? Like, I guess he wouldn't let her? But like, how did she escape then? Should she have like taken them in the night and like they should have all escaped together? How could she leave her children with him? I just don't quite understand. So I think that's about it for this review. This last portion is way longer than I expected it to be. Overall, I really enjoyed this book. I think I'm going to give it 4 stars. I think it's a 4-star book. It was very good. I enjoyed it a lot. And the descriptions were great. And I really liked it. So thank you so much for joining me on this live reaction book review. Thank you so much for listening to my random thoughts on this book. If you read this book, please let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I would love to chat with you about it. And if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. I upload new videos on Mondays and every other Friday, plus the occasional surprise video. So please subscribe if you want to see more of my videos. And again, thank you so much for watching and have a wonderful day. Bye!